Bit of a change this time. This is my Mitsubishi L200 pickup, which you might have seen lurking in the background in a previous video, but got a couple of problems with it, and those were pretty much caused by me running into a post. Now, I spent some time dismantling the front to correct the problems that came from that. Unfortunately, I didn't video them, so what I'm going to do is video me putting them back together again, and you can run it backwards or something. So here we have the front completely dismantled, and there was a couple of problems that stemmed from running into the post. And the main one was the intercooler, which, if you look carefully, is all cracked and broken with holes inside. You might see daylight through there. Some damage caused by a post, which I didn't see in the car park, and that caused me to... There was no visible damage, weirdly, but basically it pushed the front bumper in, which dented this crushable element, and also broke the intercooler, which goes in here. So anyway, that's what it's all about, but the question is, how do I put it back together again? Now, a couple of other elements of this are the fact that the headlamp was full of water. Well, not full of water, had a lot of water in it, which you can still see even though I've drained out loads of it. So, ooh, it's pouring out. Yeah, so wet headlamp was another important thing which I wanted to solve, because that was already the case even when I first got the vehicle. So I just need to get rid of the water, and further than that, the vehicle was equipped with a light bar. This rather sorry looking item, which you can see here, and if you look at it whilst it's switched on, you can see it certainly isn't in the best of health. So I wanted to take that off as well, and this might find a future use in the garage, I don't know, but it's certainly not going back on the front of the car. So the small accident that I had, which was entirely my fault, allowed me to solve some other problems which I wanted to deal with anyway. Let's see if I can get any more water out of it. Yes, I can. So I've certainly managed to get something like half a cup full of water out of this headlamp, but I had to take it right off in order to do this. And even now, as you can see, it's not dry, so I've just been simply tipping it this way and that to get the water to drain out through various holes which I've opened up on the back by removing the covers and the place for the indicator bulb and so on. So I'm just tipping it backwards and forwards until I can get as much water out as possible, and then leaving it out in the sun. Hopefully that will enable the remaining drips to disappear. Now, one of the other things I had to solve, which was purely due to my post incident, was straighten this out, which was crushed completely flat. But this stuff is a crush can, I guess, and it's very, very thin. It's like a biscuit tin, in fact. So I have actually already straightened it out. It was pushed right back. So this is how it is. It's not visible later when the thing's put back together again. But I was able to put a lead. Look, it's quite open inside. I'm able to straighten that out with a few bits of socket extension bar and that sort of thing. I'll probably put some paint on that to keep it from rusting away. So then we have a quick coating of paint, and just to emphasise, this is completely invisible when the thing's put back together again, so it's purely a protective layer. And the headlamp over here, you can see, is steaming up nicely due to the greenhouse effect inside the plastic, considering that the back end of it is open to the air, so hopefully that will clear out in a little while. And certainly that would never have happened had I not taken the thing out, drained it out of half a cupful of water and taken all the plugs off. Right, my headlamp appears to be dry inside, no steam or anything as there was. And I got getting on for a cupful, certainly a tea cupful of water out of it. So it was never going to dry on its own. I've opened all the plugs on the back and been blowing a hairdryer and all kinds of things, but it doesn't appear to be dry, so that's great. So I shall need to put it back in again. But another thing I should be doing is trying to working out why it was actually wet in the first place. Yeah, it's hard to say how water got in there. I did think I was going to take the plastic front off, but although it's fixed on by clips and a few screws, it appears there's also a rubber gasket in there which is well compressed. So I think I'd break it if I was going to try and get it to pieces. Don't know the history of this headlamp. Somebody might have gone at it with a pressure washer, maybe it was left with the bonnet open, just no way of knowing. But one thing I did discover was this screw hole here. The screw was rusty and there's a little bit of a crack. Whether that's enough to explain the water, hard to say, but I think I'll put some silicone rubber just on there, as well as putting the screws back. And hope for the best, really. Now these are the 4 screws which hold or in through the back of the black part of the headlamp casing. As you see, one of them's rusty. So yeah, that's the one I'm going to apply silicone rubber to. But beyond that, I don't think these screws do a lot. I suspect they must be used to help the assembly of the thing as it's all being forced together. Originally, I don't think that now the screws have been taken out, it's not exactly likely to fall to pieces, but anyway, I shall put them back. So yeah, I'll put these 4 screws back in, apply some silicone to this one and put it around here, and then refit the headlamp. Right, that should do it, I think. Need to clean my finger now. And I'll put back the little rubber spout things on the drain plugs, or drain points perhaps I should say, which are removed to help the all the ventilation. Put the indicator lamp back in. That's that. Put the stoppers back in. And it ought to be. And I've managed to get my hand dirty again. Right, that's the cap going in here. And although I would have expected this sort of handle thing to line up with this cut out there, in fact it doesn't. There it goes, like that. So that's that plug put back in, and I can now set about fitting it to the car. So, not sure whether to fit the lamp before connecting the wires or not. Probably the wires get connected after the lamp's already in. Now there's a little lug here, which is a screw thing goes in there, and yeah, it sits on this kind of shelf under here, and there's a screw thing that goes in through the side as well. Right, so the headlamp is now in position. The silicone rubber thing I did was just here, so it's quite plausible that the water did get in there. But hey ho, hopefully we'll never know. One of the things I have been doing is using these stackable old ice cream pots to keep my screws in different parts of the job in different layers, and because they stack very neatly, they don't take up too much space. There are two main types of fixing in this headlamp arrangement. You've got threaded, I guess you'd call that a screw, what would I call that? More like a bolt, I would say, with a fine thread. And then these ones, which are more like a wood screw. They've both got the same head, which is a little bit confusing. So you do have to check which type that you actually have, and it's not that easy to see, to be honest. Right, due to the uncertainty, I actually took this one out of the other side of the car to see what it looks like. So it's a medium length fully threaded bolt. So I'll just put that one back where it belongs. And again, from the other side, the one on top is also a medium length fully threaded bolt. So I'll put that back where it belongs too. So I'll just refit the headlamp again. Okay, combination of rust and slight thread damage caused by me putting the wrong type of screw in there, or trying to. With a bit of oil did the trick. Right one. And similarly, I can confirm the one for up here, because it's screwed into plastic, is in fact a medium length wood screw type fitment. Right, so that's that fully fitted then. I'll plug the two plugs on the back of the headlamp in down here. There's one here and one here. You can't mix them up because they're completely different from each other. And they're a heck of a lot easier to plug back in again than they are to take off, I can tell you. Aha, my new intercooler has arrived. And there we have. So that should be pretty simple to fit. So it goes in here. Right, so the mystery of the strange inability to progress up the road problem after I've driven it into a post is indeed solved by replacing the broken intercooler. So the mystery, if there ever was one, gone, solved, disappeared. So I just need to put the front back on. Now, looking through my plastic pots down here, I've just discovered some more screws and things, which are probably the ones that should have gone in here, which is kind of annoying, so I'm going to swap them over. And the difference being between this and this, very little, but there is a built-in washer thing, so I might as well get it right. Okay, right, where were we? Putting the front bumper back on. So, I think the first thing to do is attach the wiring. So these are the spot lamps, and they plug in very easily. And the rubber tube looks like that's going to be much more of a tight fit. So I'll need to put you back over there. Yeah, so I'm getting the outer wheel arches on the outside of the bumper. Okay. Hooked on a little flange thing just onto the headlamp. Okay, that's the bit that stops it from falling down. That clips under the wing. And just line it up and push it in. Whew. Right, so that's those. And we have various screws to put in. And the remaining screws are actually hidden behind the wheel arch. So there's one screw that goes up right in here. I just need to get a screwdriver type attachment. So, on that side, on the other side. front and the side fixed together, and the rest of it I just need to get that to join up. Yeah. That looks pretty good to me. So I'll put the main grill back on, which has these flanges underneath that tuck in here. Can't really show you. So these little plastic things, you prise up the little hat thing, and that causes the little leg things to be able to close up. You push it through the hole and then give it a tap. And then finally, the trim panel has more similar catches or clips. These ones are a bit different. You put this part in. So, all connected up, intercooler repaired or replaced, steamed up headlamp sorted, and the stupid light bar removed. And that's just what I wanted.